Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Short News Podcast with your host, Alex Mado.
And welcome back to the Short News Podcast, the show that once again took a little bit of a break, but look at us, we're fucking back. Woo! Woo! Yeah! So the Howard Dean screen, I gotta add that to the soundboard. My microphone cancels it out. It's like, that's too gross of a frequency. We gotta get rid of that. Still got a slight delay in my headphones, but, you know, we're gonna work through it. We're going to see what we can do here. What's been going on? I usually start these things with like here's what's going on in my life. It's been a while. I know I keep taking breaks, but I've been over at the Pool House podcast with Kelsey. The Pool House with Alex and Kelsey. Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else. It's on its own RSS feed. If you haven't noticed, it's moved. The new episodes are elsewhere. So that's one thing that's been going on. You type in the Pool House with Alex and Kelsey to whatever podcast app you use, you'll find it. We're the only Alex and Kelsey doing a show called The Pool House. I just looked today, there's 2 other Pool House podcasts, but they're not called The Pool House with Alex and Kelsey, and those fuckers don't have that shit trademarked. Maybe we should change the name. I don't know. I like it too much, and fuck those other people. What else is going on in my life? Anything of substance here? You know, the usual. I just want her, drinking, not drinking, that whole ordeal, whatever. You know what's annoying? Acne. Acne is such a fucking pain in the ass. Don't worry, I'm not going into an ad or anything. This is just me complaining. Like, I went to Rite Aid a little while ago. I bought this new shit. It's like extra strength acne medication. And I use it. It works. But then, like, the next day, another one fucking pops up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm just going to be playing, like, whack-a-mole on my face for the rest of my life? I'm 27. I shouldn't be having this problem. Other people my age don't. Why the fuck am I getting acne in my late 20s when it wasn't an issue when I was in high school, when it's supposed to be an issue? What is that about? Let me look this up because it's pissing me off. Why do I have acne in my late 20s? The Curology Skin Quiz. Oh, so it's fucking sponsored shit. Google's so dumb. Acne in your late 20s could be adult acne. Wow. Okay. As opposed to what? Kid acne? That sounds like a shitty superhero sidekick. It's kid acne. I'm here to be a problem and make you real insecure for all of your teenage years. I didn't have that problem, though. My skin was very clear. And I hate to say it, and an ex of mine who I know listens to this, still, what are you doing? I won't say your name, but I appreciate you nonetheless. She's going to love hearing this. When I went vegetarian, my skin was a lot better. I hate to say it, but all I eat now is chicken. Just a lot of chicken and broccoli and yeah, you know I be getting gassy. Where's Kelsey? I need Kelsey for that conversation. Acne in your late 20s caused by the same factors that cause acne in teenagers. So then why call it a different thing? These factors include excess oil production, clogged pores, bacteria, and inflammation. It's probably the oil. The excess oil production. But okay, so now tell me why I'm having excess oil production in my late 20s. Do I have to look that up now? I got to follow the trail all the way up? We have AI. We have the technology. That's annoying. So yeah, that's the other thing going on in my life, and the whole I'm Dwayne Johnson. I just want her. And it's not as fun without Kelsey. What the fuck? This show sucks now. I'm sorry. Like, I started podcasting alone. I lived with a partner who I would ask all the time, like, don't you want to do this one? Like, come on, this would be a fun activity for us. And she was like, no, I don't want to put myself out there like that. Like, I think you're crazy for doing that. It's dangerous. And like, what if you say something that could get you canceled? Listen, I've said a lot of things. There have been attempts in the past to try to cancel me. It won't happen. Knock on wood. Oh, God. But I think part of that is because, not to toot my own horn and finger my own butthole here. Wow. But I think I say things that, even as blunt as they can be, but regardless of what side you're on, you kind of see the logic in it. I've been debating a lot more lately, off pod, off record, and I found myself winning, which has been cool, because once you figure out how to put something in somebody's perspective, even if they don't agree with you, and then they start seeing it their way or whatever, then, you know, you're getting somewhere. They can't disagree with you anymore. Fun fact. All right, alpha males, this is how you get anyone to agree with you. No, like that's not what I mean, but a lot of people kind of need a little bit of a push towards empathy, myself included. And sometimes you need that perspective, or sometimes you need something put in your perspective, digestible for you to be able to be like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm being ignorant here. And that applies to a lot of things. And I'm sure someone's going to hear this and be like, yeah, you could have probably done this about this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, probably. But emotions are a little bit stronger than logic sometimes. If you've seen my Twitter, then you probably know. And we'll get into that because I've been on a Twitter rampage here regarding the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Let's call it what it is. A genocide. Israel is committing multiple violations to the Geneva Convention, in my opinion, by continuing their ethnic cleansing mission in Palestine. They are trying to wipe those people off the map. And I've heard Israeli people talk about it firsthand. Like, not all of them. I won't put you all in there. I won't rope everyone from Israel in that one category of war criminal, because that would be wrong. That would be Hitler-esque. No group is a monolith. But we're talking about the Zionists here. I was at work and I was listening to this conversation. This woman from Israel was saying to someone else, we need to wipe out their entire population. I don't care if not all of them are in Hamas. And she saw me make a face and was like, I see him over there making a face about it. I don't know if he's Palestinian or something, but I'm sorry, but we have to get rid of all of them. And I'm like, all of them? The women and children and the fathers and people who aren't in Hamas? Hamas doesn't speak for the entire fucking country. I hate to say it. Sorry, Amy Schumer. Okay, and one of the major issues I have, speaking of Amy Schumer, and people liking to play the victim when they're really just supporting, like I said, genocide. A lot of Zionists who are in support of what the IDF is doing will constantly call back to the Holocaust. And I even have a family member. We're not Jewish. Like, we're not from Israel at all. Did I convert to Judaism in 2015? Yeah. But we won't go into that. But none of us are from Israel. But a family member of mine, when I was talking about the conflict and the war crimes or the genocide, like I said, let's call it what it is, a genocide, was like, why do you hate the Jews? And I'm like, don't get it twisted, okay? We're not hating the Jews here. Nobody's hating the Jews. I'm sure a couple of people are finding an excuse to express their hatred for the Jews. They aren't part of this conversation. This is about extremists within the IDF and people like that who support the IDF, who don't see the problem with committing a genocide and then citing the genocide that happened to them as some sort of justification or shield from any sort of blame or any sort of accountability for, once again, multiple violations of the Geneva Convention. This isn't about hating the Jewish people, and no one should be hating on the Jewish people right now. That is, first of all, that's going to make it worse. Secondly, this isn't about that. This isn't about even the citizens of Israel. This is about the military. This is about, with any war comes war crimes. Look at the United States. What we did when we deployed in the Middle East post 9/11 was criminal. I would say they're acts of terror. I would call our country and our military in that situation terrorists and war criminals. Just because you're part of a government entity, just because your military is a government entity, that does not exempt you from the label of terrorist. And that goes for the IDF here. It doesn't legitimize your cause in the eyes of the general population just because you are a government entity. You are still a terrorist. You are still doing things that you yourselves would label as acts of terror if you weren't the ones doing them. It's as simple as that. If you want to talk about Hamas and how Hamas is a threat, okay, go after Hamas. Why are you bombing escape routes? Why are you sniping mothers holding their children in the fucking head, leaving these kids as orphans? I'm not just speaking out of my ass. I'm referencing real fucking events here. Why are you cutting off aid? Why are you in control of Palestine's water supply? Are you Nestle? Nestle shouldn't be fucking owning the water. No one should own the water supply anywhere. In my opinion, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but I shouldn't have to say these things. They're very clear, very concise, very obvious concepts. If people could just critically think for a second and not just take everything they hear for face value, look at the news, read the news, watch the videos of the warfare on Twitter, come up with your own opinion without the influence of these large conglomerates, these government fucking entities, or whatever the IDF is currently tweeting about how they are actually the victims when they're the ones bombing escape routes, bombing cities, blowing up every fucking university in Palestine. Yet people here in America, right-wingers mostly, but also some of you fucking Democrats, you spineless twats, sorry, but you are complaining about college students protesting when they have, first of all, every right to protest. We have freedom of protest. We let a lot of you fuckers get away with January 6th, and that was in the Capitol. You went into the Capitol because your old guy lost to our old guy. We don't even like our old guy. We'll get into him too. Oh, don't worry, Joe. We're coming. That's not a physical threat, by the way. I mean, I'm going to circle around and talk about you. I know you're not a very smart guy, and I don't want you to panic like a deer in headlights in a diaper. So we'll get back to you, But my point, a lot of you are forgetting things like Kent State. People protesting the Vietnam War, a war that should have never happened. Why did we go there? Why was there a draft? Why did we force our fucking citizens to go to a war that we didn't need to be involved in? Why did we do that? Now, this is their Kent State. I'm talking about the Gen Z college students. They understand. They're thinking critically. They're doing what they went to college to learn to do. And they're executing on it. If anything, they shouldn't be getting punished by the administration, who turns out there's a bunch of Zionists in a lot of the major university administrations here. We should be allowing them to protest, not putting snipers on the roofs of these campuses, not beating them up, not canceling their graduations, when a lot of these kids weren't able to even celebrate a high school graduation because of the fucked up mishandling of COVID-19. Yeah, you're listening to a different Alex now. A very different Alex. Remember 2020, 2021? What was I saying back then? Remember to wear your mask and don't go outside. Stay the fuck inside. How many times did I say stay the fuck inside? I was listening to people that I thought I could trust. Turns out they didn't know fucking shit. You have to think critically. Honestly, back then, I probably would have been blindly pro-Israel too. And that's really damaging. And I still feel guilt about, my mishandling of the COVID pandemic here on this podcast. And also the way I was so over enthusiastic and forceful about voting for Joe Biden and making fun of people who didn't want to vote, when now I'm not going to vote. I know plenty of people who aren't going to vote, and I respect their decision, and I agree with their decision, because our country is run by a bunch of greedy clowns who, for some reason, think it more of a priority to fund Israel's ethnic cleansing of Palestine with, sending over Patriot missiles and our weapons and our aid to them, to Israel, instead of using the American taxpayers' hard-earned cash to, enrich American communities, to get rid of the tent cities, not by beating up the homeless, but by maybe helping them get homes, helping them get shelter, not putting spikes on a park bench so they can't lay down, or whatever the fuck they're doing now. Hostile architecture, is that what it's called? Yeah. Our country is run by people who clearly don't have the right priorities, who posture emptily, is that a word? About social issues that they do not actually give a shit about and don't make any difference in enriching. Joe Biden, during the 2020 election, said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. And now a lot of the hip-hop community is voting for Trump. You had to be that bad that now black hip-hop's most prominent people are choosing to vote for the guy who called countries in Africa shithole countries. That's how bad you have to be. And I don't blame him. Joe Biden was one of the authors of the crime bill, which made it even harder to be black in America. Because now under the law, you could ruin more lives. The police, could ruin more lives. The law could ruin more lives. Lock more people up for a bunch of bullshit, a gram of weed. Isn't it crazy that up until recently, there are people locked up for years in prison for an eighth of weed? That's partially because of a then Senator, Joe Biden, who once referred to America's inner cities as a jungle. I don't need to tell you why that's wrong. Not to go into election shit, but it's old racist versus old racist. Those are your choices. Neither of them care about you. What are you going to do about it? That is the question that I pose. I feel like both of them have very similar policies on Israel, and will most likely, whether it's Trump or Biden, will continue to fund the ethnic cleansing. Joe Biden promised investors in a private rally or meeting or whatever during 2020 that nothing was going to change from Trump to him. He was going to pretty much do the same thing. Has he done that? Yeah, minus the mentally jarring tweeting. Great. We have a president who doesn't tweet threats to Kim Jong-un. I guess that's a relief. Oh, everything costs more every week. Your cat's food goes up in price. Gas prices aren't coming down. People can't afford housing, but we have enough money to fund other countries' wars. We're the sugar daddies to Israel and Ukraine. How does that make sense? How is that not infuriating to more people? And again, Trump would probably do something very similar. No matter who wins this election, it's gonna fucking suck come Inauguration Day. Fuck. And both these guys would rather ban TikTok than make any sort of real difference in the world. And I think that's what pisses me off a lot. I think, as some of you know, TikTok has been a great place for me the last couple of years. It's connected me with a lot of really cool people in one legitimate nightmare demon. But we won't talk about that, folks. Believe me. And both these guys did the same thing. 4 years apart. Trump wanted to ban TikTok, set that in motion. Never went through. Biden signed the bill to ban TikTok. Same package also provides more aid to Ukraine, which is all right, so we're funding more war and we're banning everyone's favorite app. So now TikTok has to sell the American version of their app to an American company or risk being banned in the United States. They have 9 months to do so. TikTok is considering, all right, fine. If that's the law, we'll sell to an American company, but we're not giving you the For You page algorithm. Get fucked. It's going to be the app, but it's just going to be Instagram, but dumber. Is this what you wanted? Joe Biden? A man who talked about, protecting people's civil liberties, who talks about, supporting small businesses. I'm not saying TikTok itself is a small business. It's not. It's huge. It's owned by ByteDance, a huge Chinese company. And listen, it's definitely problematic that any company would collect data. But why are we fine with Zuckerberg having pictures of my penis, but not TikTok? Am I becoming the left-wing Tucker Carlson? Why are we fine with Mark Zuckerberg having pictures of my penis, but TikTok can't, but ByteDance can't see it? That seems pretty discriminatory to me. It's more of making China into the boogeyman And of course, any country with that large of a population, that much technology, and that much reach, I can understand it feeling a little threatening. China has been our boogeyman, though, since COVID. And I'm not pro the Chinese government. I think they're very restrictive, more than things are here, to the point where their version of TikTok is very different than the one that we have here. It's much less entertainment focused, a lot more science and education focused. You could be like, yeah, that's weird. Well, different markets, you know? And TikTok has done great over here. Like I said, it's connected a lot of people. And this sets a precedent, a very fucked up precedent, that the United States government now has the power to ban whatever app they want. In a way, controlling free speech. And I say that because TikTok has been the place where I've connected with the most leftists, the most people who have good things to say, who think critically, who are willing to express those views, and they gain traction fast. Everyone starts realizing they agree with each other and they hate the fucking government. They hate the people running it. They hate the way they're running it. And now people like Joe Biden or whoever's running the show see that as a threat. It's not China who's the threat. China's taking the blame. Their app is too fucking powerful, and the U.S. government wants to be able to control it so that they can control free speech. Now, free speech is written into the Constitution. Did the founding fathers know that technology would get to a point where we would be able to communicate with each other instantaneously on a broadcast, anyone, anytime, anywhere? No. That's why our current government officials are able to take advantage of that. The Constitution is an extremely old document. We don't have any amendments that have to do with this type of technology and the new ability we have to express ourselves. And like I said, they're taking advantage of that. They're fucking us over. Everything that they have been doing is unconstitutional, and it needs to stop. The only way I can think about us making any sort of difference, and it's the opposite of what I said in 2020, is by not voting, not participating. Fuck them. You may think that's giving them the ability to do whatever they want, but for the next 4 years after this election, whatever party loses is going to freak out because voter turnout was at an all-time low. And all of their old, dumb, decrepit voters, this is probably their last time voting before they die, get buried, turn to dust, and waste away. And now they will have no supporters. No one. Every election for these parties will be like Jason Nash begging on TikTok live for someone to donate to him so he doesn't lose his house. They will have to try extremely hard to get anyone to pay attention to the people they're trying to float by us, to try to get elected, because nobody cares anymore. You know what? The contrary of that. Everyone cares. Nobody likes these people anymore. They all fucking suck. Nobody trusts any of them. The days of 2016, where we were yas-queening the Democrats, done. Even the Democrats hate the Democrats. We want different people, uncorruptible people, with backbones and morals. We don't have that. We have a bunch of puppets for the actual people with all the money. They don't care about our future, our futures, because they're not going to be there. It doesn't matter to them as long as they have a good career and they leave this earth with a decent legacy and they're not the ones starving or being bombed, then they're fine. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about you or me. All they care about is control over you and me. But if you really want to make a difference, and TikTok kept trying to get me to do this before the vote. Look up who your local senator is. Call them. Don't threaten them. Do not threaten them. But call them. If they don't pick up, leave a voicemail. Bully these motherfuckers. Because we voted them into power. We pay, unlike when like a Karen goes to a Walmart and says like, I pay your paycheck. Like, I'm the reason you're getting paid. No, we are paying these people. I'm talking about your elected officials. Joe Biden, your senator, your representative, whoever the fuck, your fucking mayor, governor, all that shit. We pay those people. We elect them and we pay them. And they just got a raise. We pay them more. We don't see any change from that. They just make our lives worse. They work for us. So be the abusive boss that I know that you can be. It's in all of us. You don't like the way things are going? Fire these motherfuckers. Or make them want to quit. Because personally, I'm fucking sick of the way things are going, and I'm sure that you are too if you are listening to a leftist podcast like this. So make their lives a living hell, within the law, of course, and don't vote this November. If you want to make a difference, show them. You don't fucking love them, and they don't fucking owe you, and you don't fucking owe them shit. Because all they've done is spit in your faces and do the opposite of what the American people need. And fuck Stephen Colbert and anyone like him who shills for these dumb motherfuckers. Colin Jost, suck my dick. Michael Che is funnier. Scarlett Johansson is cheating on you. How do you not know this? I know this. The correspondence dinner was a bunch of bullshit. Suck my dick. You're a bunch of bourgeoisie whites who don't care about everything outside of your house. It doesn't matter to you. All you do is empty posturing. Fuck you. Do I have anything else? I don't know. So that got really angry for a hot minute, and I want to apologize for that. For the energy, not for the message. But I think that it's time to shift gears for a second. So I've got an album coming out that's not political, not related to anything going on in the world, aside from the things going on with me. And yeah, I'm going to be my own musical guest here. Why was that laugh so fake? And I'm going to do the song that I just released on Spotify about a week ago. It's called I Still Love You. It's under my name, Alex Mador. And it goes a little something like this. If this is gonna work, that would be cool. Oh no. Uh-oh. I don't like that it's like canceling out the so let me figure this out real quick. I think I can change the settings here. All right, special guest, me. Okay. It's called I Still Love You. I'm moving again. I'm changing my pace and my home base. But before I go, I like to see a pretty face. Before I hit the road, there's just one more thing that I like to say. If you'll hear me out, then I will stay for one more season. You don't know me like you think you do. But I know you enough to know that I'm in love. mystery. I come off like I'm full of all this anger and hate. But if you only heard what I need to say, that I still love you. I'm drinking again. Ignore all the jokes and my mistakes. Behind this gray wall of tragedy, someone you remember. Off the wagon I fall, and I don't blame you for leaving me. I needed to find who I could be, alone in December. You don't know me like you think you do. But I know you enough to know that I'm in love. I'm a mystery. I come off like I'm full of all this anger and hate. But if you only heard what I need to say, that I still love you. Fucking A. And ladies and gentlemen, another one. This one's called Hate Your Guts. Alright, fuck it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I moved on and in too fast. You sprung right on me when I lost my ass. A vulture stalking, looking for who's next. You found your target on the internet. You say you take care of me. I didn't know you meant you'd be tormenting. I had no judgment. I thought I loved it. Until you stole what I didn't want to give. You wouldn't give me the respect of silence. You tracked my phone and showed me all this violence. I needed love, you played the smallest violin. Now I'm in pain and it feels worse than dying. I hate your guts, I hate your face. I hate the way you won't let me have peace. I tried for peace and now I only crave violence. What's the plan you always had in mind then? You kept on drinking and killed our baby. I'm relieved because my seed don't deserve no rapist. You brought this on yourself, so leave me be. While I go back to basics, learn how to be me. I hate you more than I thought. Get me back to my dead-end job. I'd rather be there than have you as my boss. So one more time I'll say it, fuck right off. You wouldn't give me the respect of silence. You tracked my phone and showed me all this violence. I needed love, you played the smallest violin. Now I'm in pain and it feels worse than dying. I hate your guts, I hate your face. I hate the way you won't let me have peace. I tried for peace and now I only crave violence. Was this a plan you always had in mind then? Thank you, fake audience that isn't actually here. Thank you. It's so great. It was stolen. The election was stolen, believe me. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of the Short News Podcast. Thank you so much. New episode of the Pool House with Alex and Kelsey will be out tomorrow on its own feed. So if you haven't already, go to your podcast player that you're listening to this on now, search The Pool House with Alex and Kelsey, subscribe, maybe leave us a review. We need some of those. And I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you over there, and then I'll see you over here. We'll split custody. It's like a divorce. Oh, that's bringing back memories. Anyways, this has been the Short News Podcast. My name is Alex Mador. You can find me on findmypenis.gov. Not really. TikTok until it's banned at Alex Mador. Twitter, Alex_Mador. Suck my dick. Eat my ass. You just a munch. I don't know the words. Anyways, have a great one, people. I love some of you. All right. Bye.